Drawdowns destroy most traders, but there's a mental edge that only a small minority of traders have that allows them to stay confident throughout the process. For those of you that don't know, my name is Ty, and I've been trading futures for 5 years now, just under 5 years, the last 2 being profitable years. And I'm also a self-published independent author of the book Quiet the Noise Within. And in today's video, I'll be helping you understand why you feel like shit in drawdowns, how to stop feeling like shit in drawdowns, and I'll also be giving you 3 practical things that you can do that will give you a mental edge over the 95% who fail, whilst also helping you reduce the emotional and mental distress that drawdowns often cause. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. I'd like to share a story about someone who experiences this exact same problem of drawdowns causing a lot of mental and emotional disharmony. And this person, this guy, we're going to call him Tim. And Tim is a funded trader. He's a profitable trader. You know, he has years of data and a proven strategy. So Tim's a great trader. He's a successful trader. He's been doing it for a long time. And right now, Tim is on a winning streak. He's been consistent for the past few months, consistently executing his strategy, just following his rules, following his system. So month after month, green after green. So naturally, Tim just starts to get a bit complacent. You know, he's spending a little less time on his morning analysis or his pre-session analysis, because over these winning months, these winning weeks, his mind has kind of developed a bias. You know, he's just been long in the markets have been pumping, so he's only really looking at upwards movements. He's not really looking at any information to show shorts or to show that the market conditions are shifting. So he's just going into his pre-charting session thinking about where's the next long. So fast forward to the trading day, Tim has identified, you know, his usual setups, but it doesn't work out. And he takes his first loss and his winning streak is broken. But Tim, being a successful trader, being a winner, being an alpha, he says, nah, I'm not taking that. Like, I've been on a winning streak for so long, I've been consistent for so long, like, I'm not about to fuck this up over this one trade. Like, this trade should have been correct. So Tim is now in this mode of getting his money back. So he goes from being kind of this overconfident, you know, like carefree trader to now, you know, he's focused, he's locked in, he needs to reestablish his dominance. He has to get back on his winning streak. So fast forward, after that one loss he took, he takes another one. And now his head is really spinning. Maybe the winning streak's over. Maybe, you know, this is the end of the consistent, you know, trades and the consistent gains, for now at least. And he starts making emotional decisions. He starts finding himself, instead of being carefree and just executing flawlessly, he starts to second guess the trades he wants to take. He starts to doubt himself. He starts to doubt his ability as a trader. And now this leads to him going from, you know, taking all his setups, taking all these trades, to now passing on the A+ setups, passing on opportunities that he would take on any other given day. But because he's just taken 2 losses, it's now played on his mind. And now because he's just missed an opportunity, he feels like he has to get into another one. He feels like he's missing opportunities, that he's underperforming. So now he finds himself over trading. He finds himself taking bigger losses than his strategy tells him to. He finds himself taking bigger losses than he predefined. So he's over trading, he's losing more than he should be. And literally before this trading day, he was on a great green winning streak. But then at the end of the trading day, he finds that he's taken, instead of a 2R or a 3R max loss for the day, he's down, 5R, 6R, 7R. And now his mind is really playing tricks on him. Now he's starting to doubt his ability as a trader. He feels frustrated, he feels angry, he feels mad. He's just taken, a big loss on the day. He's just messed up his winning streak. He feels disappointed. He feels like an idiot. Like, how can he make this mistake? How can he just allow himself to fall victim to his own emotions like that? He's been trading for years. He's had payout after payout. He knows he's a successful trader. So how is it that he's making this mistake at this time in his career? He shouldn't be making these mistakes. And because he really believes that he, is beating himself up. He's condemning himself. How can he be so stupid? How can I make this mistake? And this is a common story and a common situation that a lot of profitable traders face. You get overconfident from your winning streak, from your winning months, and that overconfidence starts to blind you and starts to cloud your vision on what the markets are doing and what they're telling you. Especially if the markets have been extremely bullish or extremely bearish, and you've just been, for example, if it's bullish, you've just been longing, hit after hit after hit. So it's like your brain just focuses on that and tunnel visions on that, which blinds you to any shift in market conditions that could happen. After that first loss, that initial loss that messes up the winning streak, now your mental is really under threat, and now you can start getting emotionally hijacked, start thinking about over trading or revenge trading and enforcing your own ideas onto the market because you've been so biased for so long, just longing the markets. As soon as the market starts to short, you keep longing because that's what's been working. And then this results in a big loss. It results in hesitating on great opportunities that would take you out of that drawdown, and this whole negative spiral that occurs. And to the point that you get into a drawdown, to a point you have a big loss for the day. And not only is it a big hit on your account, but it's a big hit on your emotional state, on your mental state. Even to the point it starts affecting your outside life in trading. You don't feel like speaking to anyone, you don't feel like doing anything or going out, especially if you just trade for a living. Being in drawdown, having big losses can impact your outside life. It can affect your relationships. You may be more moodier than usual, so the people around you, you're having, I guess, disharmonious interactions or interactions that aren't really positive with the people around you because your account's in drawdown, because you're just taking a big loss. So it's really important that you develop a way of separating your identity from your trading and from your account. And this transitions into the next segment of this video, which is going into the belief shifting that needs to happen, that will allow you to not only reduce the emotional distress and the mental distress of drawdowns, but will also help you almost see them as a good thing and turn adversity or turn the drawdown into one of your greatest catalysts for growth and evolving as a trader. So this next part of the video is belief shifting. And the first belief, why is my computer turning off? But yeah, the first belief that you need to have in order to reduce the emotional distress from drawdowns is that you are not your P&L. You are not your P&L, you are not your account size. The sooner you realize this and you adopt this as your belief, the easier it will be to detach from those times where your account takes a hit or you go on a losing streak, you go into drawdown. The reason why you feel so bad and you feel like shit in drawdown is because your identity is tied to your performance. And that performance you define as results instead of processes. So that's the first belief shift that you need to have in order to navigate these drawdowns effectively and have that mental edge that 95% of traders don't have. And to separate your identity from your trading results. Okay, so I need to separate my identity from my trading results. How do I do that? Well, this goes into the first solution or the first exercise for this, and it's what I call the observation meditation. So this is a meditation exercise where you're simply just observing your thoughts, observing your emotions, allowing your thoughts and your emotions to process. This meditation is especially good right after you've taken a big loss, or right at the end of a trading day where you've taken more losses than you should have, or right when your drawdown starts, because these are times where your emotions are most at risk. Or there's a plane flying over my crib right now. Like, chill out, bro. But as I was saying before, this observation meditation is great for them times where your account has taken a hit and you feel that emotionally, you feel that within you, like your account's taken a hit and now you've taken a hit. So this observation meditation is great for that because it allows your emotions to process, it allows your thoughts to process. You simply just observe your thoughts, observe your emotions, observe how you feel from a purely third person perspective. And after a few minutes, after 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, however long it takes, you'll find that those emotions, those thoughts subside and you no longer feel like shit. You no longer feel, disappointed, frustrated, no longer feel like beating yourself up because you've allowed all these thoughts and all these emotions to just process within you. You've allowed them to just fester out and, process. So that's the first solution to having your identity tied to your performance, is by doing that observation meditation. Find a quiet place, you sit down or lie down, whatever's comfortable for you, and just close your eyes. And in third person, observe how you feel. Observe the thoughts that are ruminating in your mind and just allow them to process. Now going on to the second belief that you need to adopt. Adversity, which I define as failures, setbacks, mistakes, drawdowns, big losses, all of that together is adversity. Adversity is a package of growth. Adversity exists as a prerequisite to growing and evolving as a trader. And this is something you know already. You wouldn't be profitable, you wouldn't be so successful if you didn't take losses, if you didn't fail time and time again, if you didn't make mistakes time and time again, if you didn't lose trades time and time again, which allowed you to collect data and then reiterate and refine and evolve your strategy, your edge, yourself. So these adverse moments, the drawdowns, the big losses, they exist as a catalyst for growth. Now, why this is important to adopt as a belief is because right as soon as you experience the drawdown or the big loss, after you've allowed yourself to process these thoughts through the observation meditation, you'll notice that you'll get to a point of neutrality where you don't feel or think anything. And it's in this point where you want to start, conjuring up these constructive and positive and true beliefs about trading and the reality of trading. The reality of drawdowns and losses, they exist to accelerate your growth and your ability as a trader. So that's the second belief shift, is seeing adversity as a package of growth. Now, moving on to the third belief, which kind of ties into this one, to the last one, and that is losses aren't just losses. Losses are one of three things. One, an opportunity to learn something about your edge or about yourself. Two, just the normal part of the process. It's just part of the probability. It's just part of the game. You know, losses are part of the game. And three, an opportunity to strengthen your poise and to strengthen your detachment. As soon as you take that loss, it gives you an opportunity to exercise your poise, to exercise your detachment, which is so important and so significant for trading successfully over a long period of time and sustainably, because there'll be periods of time where you have a losing month or be in a prolonged drawdown, and it's important, it's so imperative that you stay detached and you stay objective throughout the whole process. So having that belief that losses are, you know, once again, they are an opportunity to learn about yourself, your strategy. Two, just a part of the probabilities, just part of the game. And three, an opportunity to strengthen your poise and your detachment in trading. When you see losses as that, it helps kind of relieve the stress that they cause. So, moving on to the solutions, the rest of the solutions, because I kind of gave away the first solution whilst I was talking about separating your identity from trading. Now we're on to the second meditation, which will help you spot when you're overconfident and will kind of help you prevent the whole chain of events from occurring where you're overconfident. Then that overconfidence leads to you being blindsided, which leads to you start to make mistakes, and then you making mistakes starts to spiral into negative spirals, and you start to take more trades, overtrade, revenge trade, and then that leads to a big loss or a big losing day, which leads to the self-condemnation, and now you lack confidence, you can't get into flow. Like, that first point that starts off the whole chain is the overconfidence. So this next exercise will help you spot that. So we call this one the breath focus meditation. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll see a reoccurring theme of me suggesting the same kind of exercises. And this is really a simple thing, man. Like, emotional regulation and managing your emotions, being a master of self, is a very simple thing. As the great Leonardo da Vinci says, like, simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. So I'm going to be recommending the same exercises again and again because they truly shift your internal state and they truly allow you to be in control of your emotions and master your emotions. That being said, this breath focus meditation, you're gonna sit or lie down in a relaxed position, in a relaxed environment, whatever's most comfortable for you. And you're gonna allow your mind to wander, but instead of just allowing the thoughts to process and observing them from a third person perspective, this time you're gonna be bringing your attention and your awareness back into your breathing. Every time your mind wanders, you're going to bring your attention back to your breathing. And one thing that helps whilst you're doing this meditation is every time you inhale, you say in, and every time you exhale, you say out mentally. Mentally, you're saying in and out. And this will help you stay focused on your breathing. Why this exercise is so great and why it helps your trading performance and your drawdown is because you start to develop this great awareness of every thought that literally arrives in your mind. Your thoughts are no longer things that just happen, but they're things that you're aware of, and you can catch when you're, overconfident. You can catch when you're thinking about something you shouldn't be. These lot of drilling. And also in this breath focus meditation, it improves your ability to not only spot the thought or the emotion, but also intervene, which is so important. That intervention part is what prevents the feeling or the feeling of fear or the feeling of of revenge trade or anger from actually evolving into an action that you take. So this breath focused meditation helps you identify an emotion or a thought and helps you intervene quicker and quicker and quicker the more that you do this meditation. So that's the second meditation I would recommend, the breath focus. Now, this third exercise is emotional regulation. And the reason why this exercise is so important is because emotional regulation reduces the amount of emotional hijacks that happen and gets you to a point where you can literally spot as soon as you feel fear or as soon as your body enters fight or flight, which then leads to, blacking out and just making dumb mistakes. So this emotional regulation is simply breathing through your stomach, through your belly, relaxing any muscle tension, and maintaining a calm, relaxed, upright posture in your chair whilst you're trading. Doing all these three things together is what helps you stay neutral and helps you stay detached from any emotions that you feel. Because one, belly breathing through your stomach is what keeps you aware and in the present moment. And it prevents your mind and your body becoming disconnected and your body taking over your mind. So that's the first thing, belly breathing. The second thing, muscle tension, directly negates, the tendency to tense up and to become like proper rigid and almost like you're fighting the markets if you're in a trade or you're about to revenge trade. That's a tendency that typically happens. So you're directly negating that by relaxing any muscles, relaxing your body and keeping yourself calm, preventing that survival brain, that reptilian brain from triggering and perceiving anything as a threat. And now the third thing is posture. It's clear to see, sometimes when you're trading or if you're just taking a big loss, like you're looking at the screen, bare close, zoomed in on the candles, as if that's gonna do anything for you. We've all done that one, but you gotta remain relaxed in your chair, sitting down. You feel me? So those are the three things in emotional regulation that will help you spot the overconfidence. Let's rewind. So doing the observation meditation helps you detach your identity from trading, because whilst you're doing that meditation, you'll notice that you'll feel detached from even your body. By doing that meditation, you'll detach from your emotions. And doing that meditation, you'll detach from your thoughts. So detaching from your body, your thoughts and emotions, which all make up a human being. By doing that continuously on a consistent basis, coming to trading and being able to detach from the markets will be an easy thing, because you're not even attached to your body or your thoughts or your emotions. And then going on to the thought observation, the breath focus meditation, that helps you again spot emotions or thoughts that happen in the markets and helps you intervene. It will help you spot that overconfidence before it spirals into the big loss or the big drawdown. It will also help you to, And the last thing is emotional regulation, which is something I would highly recommend you making a habit. So throughout your day, breathing through your stomach, relaxing any muscle tension, and posture is something you only do when you're sitting down, but just being as relaxed as possible. But the key thing is breathing through your stomach and relaxing muscle tension. This prevents your mind from being hijacked. It prevents you from experiencing any emotional hijacks because you're staying in the present moment. A lot of these emotional disharmonies and these trading problems stem from either being future focused or past focused. So for example, FOMO or greed, you are afraid of missing an opportunity. Your mind has predetermined that you can make money here, so that then causes you to want to rush into a trade and want to get into a trade. It's the same thing with greed as well. So on the other side of the spectrum, when your mind's focused on past events, just taking that loss or just messing up your winning streak or your winning months has now led to you feeling like you need to get your money back, revenge trading, over trading. So in all trading problems that are psychological, it's when the mind is either too focused on the future or too focused on the past. So doing this emotional regulation, doing the observation meditation, doing the breath focus meditation, these exercises all exist to keep you in the present moment, which is the only place where these trading problems don't exist. And the last thing I'd recommend for dealing with drawdowns in a professional manner and not allowing it to completely mess up your career and completely throw you off is a simple one, man. Just taking a break, taking a week off trading, maybe a couple of days off trading. Just allow yourself to process what's happened, to allow your mind to kind of recalibrate, because it may have been so biased and so fixated on this one way that the market's been moving. So usually taking a break always helps with regaining clarity and regaining a fresh new perspective on the market and what it's showing you. So those are the three, which I guess are four things that you can do to help you deal with the emotional and mental distress that drawdowns cause. And I want you to know that it's fine, man, to feel disappointed, to feel frustrated, to feel like, you know, these problems, these mistakes shouldn't be happening at this point in your career, at this point in your trading journey. But it's something you just have to accept and just go through. And hopefully these exercises that I've shared with you in this video will help you to first, prevent these big losses and these prolonged drawdowns from happening. Of course, there's drawdowns are going to happen, but there's always a way to prevent big losses and, big drawdowns from happening. And that is determined by your ability to master your emotions. So not only preventing, spiraling and going into bigger losing streaks and bigger drawdowns than you want to, but I also hope that these exercises also help you deal with the emotions that arrive when you've lost a funded account, lost, a large amount of money, or, messed up your winning streak, your green months. So I hope this video helps, man. And always remember, you are more than your P&L. You are not your trading account. You're more than that. Don't ever let trading just define who you are. Even if it's the only thing you do, don't let it define who you are, man. You're more than that.